Hi there. Thank you for taking the time to watch this Astranti video. This is going to be an introduction to a really exciting new product we have for you. It's called the Objective Test Videos. And I'm going to be taking you through an introduction and a sneak peek at what that is for our E1 syllabus. So first, I'll talk you through exactly what is going to be contained in our Objective Test videos. We have 100 questions for E1, and we're going to be covering every single chapter in E1, so there's full coverage of the entire syllabus. And the questions we've included in each chapter, they're based on real and relevant representative task statements, and they're laid out in as similar a way as possible to your actual exam questions. So it's as close to the real thing as we can possibly get. What I'm going to be talking you through with this presentation and with an example, which we'll get to in a minute, is what I have learned from my experience of making these videos for you. So I've got some tips here that I think will help you with your 100 objective test videos, and I think they will also help you when it comes to the real thing as well. So my first tip for you is quite a simple one. It's just read the question carefully. At this level of your CIMA studies, the questions or any scenarios that come with the questions are going to be fairly simplistic. So the only way that you're really going to struggle with those questions is if you aren't taking in the information and properly understanding the wording of the question. So really make sure you're thorough with your question reading, make sure you haven't missed out any key examples or evidence or information. The next one is in a similar vein. It is to understand the terms and theory on the E1 syllabus. As we said, a lot of the questions at this level of your studies will be about recalling the information you learned while studying for E1 and just remembering what it is. So you'll have certain terms and theories that you will have learned, and the only way you're going to get these questions wrong is if you haven't spent the time studying for them. So you'll need to know what these are to answer these questions. And lastly, you'll need to rule out any distractors. And what I mean by distractors is all the other answers you get in a multiple choice exam question that are wrong. They are put there explicitly to try and distract you from the correct answer by looking plausibly correct. So when you're going through all of your potential options, it's good practice to pay these some attention and work out in your head why they can't be the correct answer. So what we're going to do now is have a sneak peek at one of the questions out of your 100 questions for E1, just to show you these tips in practice and what you can expect to get if you sign up. So as you can see on screen, we have an example of one of our objective test video questions. Let's go through it just so I can show you exactly why I think my tips will be really helpful to you when you are doing your practice questions. Our first tip was reading the question very carefully. So we'll go through the rather small question together and just pick out anything we might think is helpful. So we have Company B, our example company, is an established footwear manufacturer that specialises in high quality and stylish shoes. Now we don't know what we're being asked to do yet because we haven't read the requirement line, but what it is good to do is mentally, or if you're practicing physically, highlight any details that might be relevant later. So we know they manufacture footwear and they try to make ones that are high quality and stylish. In the next bit we have our requirement line, which is the area that will tell us exactly what we have to do. Which of the following would be the most appropriate critical success factor for the finance function to assess the performance of Company B's operations? And this brings us on to our other tip, which is knowing your terms and theory. We have a key term here that if you are familiar with E1, you should know, and that's our critical success factor. Now, if you have studied E1 already, you'd know that a critical success factor is basically an area in which an organisation must do well to remain competitive and profitable. And that will help us with our other tip, which is ruling out distractors. Because we know our term, we know what we're looking for, and we can rule out anything that doesn't fit that term. So we have option A, accurate quality and testing procedures. So this is an area in which an organisation might need to do well if they want to be successful and profitable, depending on their strategy. So we'll give that a tick because that could be our right answer. Option B, the amount spent on raw materials and machinery. Now this isn't an area that you'd need to do well in, this is more of a way to measure that. And because that's not a critical success factor, we can immediately rule it out as a distractor. That leaves option C, The number of designer shops stocking the product, again, that's a number, it's a very quantifiable thing, it's not a general area in which you want to succeed in, and that's another distractor we could rule out. What about D? Keeping production costs as low as possible. See, that could be another critical success factor. It might still be a distractor, but it is a possible correct answer. So we've ruled out our distractors. Again, you have to make sure you've read your question carefully to answer the question. We know we're looking for one of these two as the correct answer, but it'll be the details we highlighted earlier that tell us the correct one. Because we know we're looking for high quality and stylish shoes, it doesn't seem very good for our strategy to be trying to keep costs low, because low costs usually don't come with incredibly high quality. It's more likely that company B would want accurate quality testing procedures because the quality of their footwear is really important to them, which would make this our correct answer. So there you go, our tips that I've suggested show you exactly how to get to a correct answer in an E1 question. So there's just a taster of what you get from our E1 objective test videos. The full 20 chapters in E1 are already available for you to watch and practice with. And if you'd like a little bit more of a taster, we actually have the first 3 chapters of E1 already available for free for everyone. So if you'd like some more examples, or you'd like to go and sign up for the whole course, you can go to www.astranti.com. Again, thank you for taking the time to listen to me talk to you about the E1 objective test videos. I hope they help with the rest of your studies.